Pacers, Sixers, round two, tonight in Philly, in season tournament action. What can the Pacers do better against Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid? What other key storylines are there to watch for the Pacers as they try to get better? And how can the Pacers beat this 76ers team? Adam Aaronson will join us as we break it all down today on the Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Tuesday, everybody, and welcome into another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes and SI, and today I'm in Cambridge Fieldhouse. Sorry for the different background and audio sound, but we have a lot to talk about. Pacers, Sixers tonight in Philly. Round two of their two-game set in Philly. This one's a little different. End-season tournament Group A action. The only two undefeated teams in the group squaring off a big game in the in-season tournament. Yes, that is a thing that I'm going to be saying because I like the in-season tournament, and we have got a lot to talk about. Can the Pacers do better against the Sixers stars? What other adjustments can the Pacers make? Can they catch up on the rebounding? There's a lot to talk about from an adjustments perspective, and who better to talk Pacers Sixers with than someone who was at Sunday's game and who will be there tonight? Adam Aaronson, a.k.a. Sixers Adam. He covers the 76ers for PhillyVoice. We get into every aspect of this matchup you need to know, adjustments you could see coming. We'll get to all of it today on Locked On Pacers. Let's just get right to it. He is the king of the 76ers, covering them for forever now for PhillyVoice, and we've got a lot to talk about in-season tournament tonight. They just played on Sunday. The two stars had 87 points for the Sixers, and they do it again tonight. He's Adam Aaronson, a.k.a. Sixers. Adam, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I don't get to cover a team that is wrecking the whole league, is 8-1 and only lost one game by 1 point, although it was really a 4-point loss. So I'm not as good as you, but I'm good. I guess I just got to start with the big one. I just told you this before I started recording. I'm at the point of these Pacers-Sixers games where I kind of bake in like Embiid's going to have like 40, right? We'll talk about that in a second. But Tyrese Maxey, 50 points. His best game ever. Got to whatever shot he wanted. The step back threes were ridiculous. What did you make of that? I mean, Maxey's been ascending to that kind of all season. Can he do it again? I mean, what did you make of that entire performance?
Yeah, he was unbelievable. First of all, he and Embiid in that game, that was the best combined performance I've seen from two Sixers in my time covering the team, which is shockingly a while now. I mean, for, just the fact that Embiid scored 19 points in the first quarter and someone else on the team finished the game with 50 points kind of tells you all you need to know. But yeah, I mean, Tyrese Maxey, his rookie year was in and out of the rotation a lot, didn't, showed some stuff when he was on the floor, but it wasn't consistent. And then, man, each of the last 3 years, he has made just a massive leap each year. It's been a pleasure to watch. His work ethic is outstanding. His attitude, the same. Everybody around him, around the team, just effusive praise all the time. And all of that coalesces into just a special player. I think a lot of people were hoping that he would make the All-Star leap this year, and he was kind of in that like borderline area by the end of last year. And now it's, did he make an All-NBA leap? If he's playing anything like, of course it's only 9 games, but if it's anything like this the rest of the way, then he's going to have more than a legitimate case. He's going to have quite a strong case. I mean, he's been one of the single best scorers in the NBA. He's averaging almost 29 a game on better than 50, 40, 90. It's outrageous. The level of shot maker he's become is ridiculous. His speed is second to none in the NBA. His finishing ability is incredible. He's really just become the perfect offensive guard. He's not, Steph Curry or anything, but he's special in a lot of different ways. And I just find whenever we in Philadelphia in any case try to limit what Maxey's upside is, he then makes us look silly. So just don't doubt Tyrese Maxey would be my advice. He's just going to keep on getting better, and I don't really see an end in sight there.
Yeah, the thing that made his performance so jarring Sunday was like he's so fast with and without the ball. I know that he can get to whatever spot he wants because he could go fast every direction. Okay, he's going to score a lot against the Pacers because of that alone, right? They don't have the best guys for that matchup. Bruce Brown was their best option. I don't even think Bruce Brown did that bad, but we'll talk about that in a second. So him getting to like his layup, that's kind of a layup, kind of a runner thing that he makes all the time. Okay, that's going to happen the whole game. He's going to score 30 plus from just that. The step back threes were just like, what could the Pacers even do on those? And he went 7 of 11 from deep, and those changed the game to me because the Pacers won the Embiid minutes by one, but they still won them. So all they had to do was win the non-Embiid minutes to win, and they got their butts kicked in those minutes because Maxey couldn't miss, and he couldn't miss the step back three. So the way I expected him to do well, he did, but then he took it a step further and did it in the minutes where he was the lone star. It was ridiculous. Like, what has historically slowed him down? If anything, this year it looks like nothing. And can the Pacers actually do anything with an adjustment that isn't just throw 2 guys at him? Because then you're compromised somewhere else against this high-powered Sixers team.
Yeah, and that kind of is the crux of what makes the Sixers so good, at least to start the season, is that this version of Maxey and Embiid at the same time. I mean, we saw it to open the game. They basically ran the same set.
First 13 points.
For 13 points. I don't know. It was over and over to start the game, and the Pacers had no answer. And that's not even, I've never seen the Sixers do it that many times in a row that quickly. But that not being able to stop those actions is not a problem exclusive to the Pacers. That's something that just by the nature of the skills Maxey has that we just talked about, plus obviously Embiid being, the best interior scorer in the NBA, arguably, either him or Giannis. They're impossible to guard when the two of them are on the floor together. And so it does come down to, you really do, it's simple, but the formula to beat the Sixers still is to win those non-Embiid minutes. And to me, possibly the single biggest development for the Sixers this season outside of what Maxey and Embiid have done is that they're consistently winning minutes with Embiid off the floor. And that has been the issue since Embiid's first game in the NBA. Since, October of 2016, he was playing 20 minutes a game on a minutes restriction and wasn't playing any back-to-backs. But every minute he was in the game, no matter who else was on the court, the Sixers were winning those possessions. Their starting lineup in his rookie year at one point was our friend TJ McConnell, our friend Nick Stauskas, Robert Covington, Ersan Ilyasova, and Joel Embiid, and they were just mowing teams down. And I say all that to say, here we are in 2023. Embiid does the same thing. He's obviously a considerably better player than he was 7 years ago now, which is crazy that it's been that long. But they're a machine when he's on the floor. They almost always have been. And now they're learning finally how to win games without him. And that combination makes them really dangerous because, again, just the floor with him is so high when you have, a defensive anchor who also happens to be the back-to-back scoring champion of the NBA. And then you really have to key in when he's off the floor on taking advantage of the Sixers' weakness. But Paul Reed's given them good minutes, and a lot of the guys in their bench lineups have been playing well, including Kelly Oubre Jr., who, of course, sadly is unavailable for the time being after the hit-and-run accident, which is terrible.
Awful.
But and Tobias Harris has had a great season so far. I think the best he's played as a Sixer, though, again, it is early. But then it comes back to Maxey. He is keying these lineups that don't include Embiid. And you can throw doubles at him. You can get the ball out of his hands. The Sixers actually, like, their internal frustration with Maxey is that he's not more aggressive, which is like hard to fathom after watching the game yesterday. or on Sunday. But it's really outrageous how good he's become. And I say all this just to say part of why they're really good is that I'm not sure exactly what the answer is. But certainly trying to get the ball out of Maxey's hands as much as you can, making other guys beat you is the key. But when Maxey is on a heater like he was the other night, there's really nothing you can do. Just by the nature of how good he is as a shot maker and how high the floor is of Embiid, who just like somehow put up a quiet like 37, 13, and 6 or whatever it was. It's really unbelievable the way those two are playing right now, not just individually, but how they make each other better in tandem. It's really been impressive to watch.
My theory for Maxey would have been shrink the floor as much as you possibly can and make him just be this awesome passer. But like they have all these shooting wings now after the Harden trade. Like that doesn't work that well anymore against this team. So like Harris was hitting Harris didn't hit any three Sunday, but like Harris has hit his threes. I don't think Batum's missed a shot against the Pacers in his entire career, right? It's like that's just not as easy of a thing, even though Batum's out on Tuesday, which does change things significantly. He's got personal reasons listed on the injury report. So we'll see where that all shakes out to be. Hey guys, short little break here. I have to talk to you about Ibotta. Turkey is great. Thanksgiving's almost here, but we know the best part of Thanksgiving dinner is the sides. With Ibotta, you can make sure you get the whole family's favorite side dishes and the turkey while getting yourself cash back starting November 1st. For the fourth year in a row, Ibotta is giving 100% cash back on your Thanksgiving feast. Just add the offers in the app to redeem everything you need to make your Thanksgiving feast complete. All you got to do is shop at your favorite retailers and upload the receipt. Ibotta gives you cash back hundreds of grocery items, from produce to personal care to pantry goods. You can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much. Ibotta, you get real cash back. You can cash out on your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards. You can earn cash back on hundreds of online brands and retailers when you start with Ibotta, including Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. Download the Ibotta app right now and use the code LOCKED to get 100% cash back on your Thanksgiving dinner starting November 1st. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store, download the free Ibotta app and use that code LOCKED. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use that promo code LOCKED. The other factor here that I'm curious to get your take on, and I cracked up when you tweeted this in the first quarter, is Myles Turner's never had a prayer against the other star on the Sixers. Is there a center that does worse compared to his normal level against Embiid than Turner?
I don't think so. I
always say this on the show. I say Turner stinks against Embiid, and like everybody stinks against Embiid, but Turner does worse than average even still in these games. It's
gotten to the point that I think all Sixers fans think that Myles Turner is like a total scrub. Where like I've always been a Myles Turner guy. Like I think Myles Turner is quite good, but then you watch him against Embiid, and it's tough. And it's ironic because I think those two have a pretty good relationship. I think they're pretty friendly with each other off the court, Embiid and Myles. But yeah, it's rough. There are certain guys where Embiid just like completely has their number. Though I will say one of those guys was Daniel Gafford, and the Wizards were in Philly earlier this year, and Gafford had like 3 blocks on Embiid in the first quarter.
Right.
Now, did Embiid finish that game with like 35 and 10? He might have. Did Gafford end up with 5 fouls? Maybe he did. But even that feels like it would be an improvement at this point. Yeah, Myles Turner, I appreciate as a very good player, but yeah, it's just I don't think there's an opponent that Embiid has dominated quite to that extent so consistently for essentially his entire career. It's really remarkable.
To Turner's credit, on Sunday, he did good stuff on offense, even against Embiid, like drove past him a few times, hit 4 threes. Yeah. That's how he's got to play to stay in these games, because he's going to be in foul trouble and he's going to get his butt kicked on the glass, which was the other story of the game. And he was still a -6, right, with 22 points and 4 for 9 from deep, because he just can't handle that matchup. He never has. They always would put Sabonis on him when they could, or whoever else was an option, but they don't have that luck.
Yeah, and I'll add, to be fair, that the Sixers don't love when Embiid has to step out and guard that archetype of guy on the perimeter. So they would often throw Embiid on like Thad Young back in the day,
Yep.
even before Sabonis, and have like Tobias or at the time Ben Simmons or whoever track Myles Turner out on the paint. So he does that. Or that is the one archetype where like the guys who can pop, who can shoot the three, who can attack a closeout, get by Embiid and get towards the rim. Those are the guys that can at least have some success against him offensively, because Embiid still is an elite defensive player, but he's not untouchable. So at least Myles does. A lot of guys get torched by Embiid on both ends of the floor. At least Myles does have some counters offensively.
The only counter the Pacers had all night consistently was their Tyrese, the battle of the Tyreses. And this one, 25 and 17 assists, 3 more than any NBA players had in a game this season, 9 of them in the third quarter by himself. It was nuts. What did you see that allowed Haliburton to do that? Like what got him going to you? Is it something he can do again? Nick Nurse is a great defensive game plan adjuster. Do you see something they could go to instead to try to slow him down? But he's kind of answers for everybody this season. So I'm curious what you think about that.
Yeah, I am along. I mean, I think everybody is a fan of Tyrese Haliburton. And I know one person in my life who doesn't like Tyrese Haliburton, which is a whole other story for another time. But I think just about everybody likes Tyrese Haliburton, both on and off the court at this point. It's funny, when he was a rookie for the Kings, he came to Philadelphia and he lit up the Sixers, and it was the most fun I had watching an opposing player all season. And then he got traded, and the first thing I did was I checked the schedule, and the Pacers were coming back to Philly in April, and I was like, yes, let's go.
Have you heard the story of him lighting up the Sixers that first time now?
No, I don't think so.
It got out. So yeah, there is. He wanted to work with Drew Hanlon, and he told Drew Hanlon he wanted to become an all-star level player, and Hanlon said, you got to shoot more. And that's not how Tyrese Haliburton played at the time. He was very much a pass-first all-the-time kind of guard, and Hanlon's like, you got to shoot this many times in your next game. And that was that Sixers game.
Wow.
So they lost, I think, by 1 or 2. I don't know if you remember the score of that game off the top of your head, but that was the game where Haliburton took like 15 or 16 shots or something for the first time. So he had a bunch of points on top of his assists. It was like his first descent of like, oh, I could be aggressive.
I did not know that story.
It's in his slam cover story. It's very cool.
Yeah. That is a very good story. I'm going to find that box score as we talk right now, because now I'm intrigued. But anyways, he is just such a tremendous player. And I think when Nick Nurse had his pregame media availability, somebody asked, what stands out about the Pacers? And instantly he said their pace, which I don't think is a stunner. They really turn these games into track meets sometimes. And I shouldn't even say sometimes, a lot of the time they turn these games into track meets, which is not necessarily the speed the Sixers want to play at, though they were able to adjust and, do enough offensively on Sunday. But I think it first of all, it starts with Haliburton just being a brilliant playmaker. But I think playing at that pace against a team that to me looked a bit tired in the Sixers, they weren't on the second end of a back-to-back or anything, but that was just kind of my takeaway from watching. It just seemed like he kind of smelled blood in the water. He could tell that if he kept pushing the pace, and he's surrounded by proper shooting and athleticism and whatnot and scoring ability, I think he could tell that if he just kept going downhill, that he was going to be able to generate looks, if not for himself, then for others. And I forget the specific stats you said, but like you said, he did a lot of scoring and he did a lot of assisting. So he certainly did it both ways. It'll be interesting to see what they do against him, because Batum was the primary defender on him, and was often picking him up full court, which I thought was really interesting. Batum is not going to play on Tuesday night. He has personal reasons listed on the injury report. He missed a few games with personal reasons when he got traded here. Not sure what's going on. He came back for a few games, has been excellent. So we'll see who starts. My guess would be Robert Covington slides in there, though that's not necessarily a good option against Haliburton. Covington's length and hands are great defensively, but the athleticism isn't where it once was. He's not really a guy you want to stick on guards anymore. which makes me wonder if we see more minutes than usual for Patrick Beverley, who obviously they like against guards. Even Jaden Springer could factor into the rotation at some point if they want to, switch things up and add more defense to their lineup. Even KJ Martin, who has not played a meaningful minute yet as a Sixer, I would be a little surprised if he got in on Tuesday night, but I think there's a world in which he sees action. So I think the biggest thing is just the personnel. It's going to be really interesting to see who the primary assignment on Haliburton is. It's going to be really interesting to see which guys off the bench get cracks at him. But he is Tyrese Haliburton, so he's going to probably do quite a bit of damage regardless.
One more break here, guys, so I can talk to you about the wonderful folks over at FanDuel. Fun week of action, Monday Night Football last night, and you can score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet on FanDuel. What a deal. That's $150 if your team wins, and that's any $5 moneyline bet. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel ever for any reason, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now with an offer like that. With the NFL rolling, with NBA and NHL now underway. The app is super easy to use on FanDuel. There's a wide range of betting options there. Over-unders, player props, spreads, your favorites. You know what they got it. They have more than that. So visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn. Kick off the NFL season over on FanDuel. Again, $150 in bonus bets with a winning $5 moneyline bet. FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. Yeah, the adjustments I'll be curious about for both teams is from the Sixers side, you could tell with Batum picking up so far. A couple teams have tried to do this. Their counter to the Pacers' pace, I hate when I say Pacers' pace, but I just did it, is if they pick up full court or they pick up 3/4 court and drop back into whatever, is their thinking is, and this has worked sometimes, well, they want to get into early offense, and so we prevent them from doing that. Or at least we make the shot clock the sixth defender, right? And that's something the Pacers never have problems with. They get into their offense so fast and they get a shot up right away. And sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't. It wasn't great for the Sixers Sunday, but I'll be curious if they do what the Bucks did that was successful, which is mix that up with some zone, or if they just scrap it completely and try to sit back and get ready, like some other teams have had success with. Chicago mainly is one there. So that is one thing. Is that's kind of why teams have done that to me, at least what the counter has been, because the Pacers just sometimes their offense is. Tyrese dribbles it up. There's one little off-ball thing. Buddy Hield takes a 3. There's 19 on the shot clock, and they get a lot of points from those. The other counter I'll be curious about, or the thing I'll be curious about, is the Pacers want to run. They want to get in transition and run. That's great until you get out-rebounded by, 22, including 15 offensive rebound advantage for the Sixers. And so the Pacers shot better from the field and shot pretty well from 3, and were only one free throw behind and won the turnover battle. All things that sound great, and they lost by a ton because they took 15 fewer shots. The glass killed them on Sunday. So I'll be curious how the Pacers can do all the things I said, try to keep their pace up, not get deterred by what the Sixers are doing with full court pressure, but still kind of crack back in that rebounding battle in a way, because that changed the game to me. The Sixers had so many second chance points that any Pacers comeback was a futile effort. They were giving up too many extra possessions. So I'll be curious how those adjustments go, and I think that'll kind of shape how the second game goes. And there's a new court. That could matter, obviously.
Yes, the new court. This will be the debut for the Sixers in-season tournament court. Do you have takes on the courts?
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan, Adam. Pacers one, it looks like a swimming pool, so I'm a little biased by their brightness of it. I think that if you're going to do like a visual, like this is an in-season tournament game for fans, just do the trophy at midcourt. I can make that huge and obvious.
That does seem like a simpler.
The color is a lot. It's a lot, but it is the first year. I don't know. What do you think? Do you like them? This is the first game for the Sixers at all, right? They haven't even played a road game yet.
They did. They are 1-0.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're both 1-0 in the same group. That's right.
Yeah, this is a big game in Eastern Conference Group A. I
haven't said that yet. Eastern Conference Group A, big game, top of the standings.
It is. It should. I don't know where you're at on the in-season tournament.
I like it
in general, but I like it.
Yeah,
I get why some people are not thrilled by it or haven't opened up to it yet, but. Who cares, man? They're making the regular season games mean a little something more. And if they don't, then whatever. They're the same to you anyways. So let's just like watch basketball and have fun with it. Yeah, but it is
in the finals, I will love it. That's all I care about. Anyway.
Yeah, it is unironically a big game in Eastern Conference Group A, which is fun to say, first of all. Yeah, which, by the way, I did find that box score. It was Haliburton's second year, obviously not his rookie year, because that's not when he got traded. But he had 38 points on 11 of 19 and made 12 free throws.
If you look at his game log, like leading up to it, it was like 8 shots, 10 shots, 9 shots, 19.
Yeah. It's pretty outrageous. Yeah. Yeah, here you go, like 8, 14, 9, 14, 9, 19. And then you're like, wait, what? And then it goes down for a little bit. And then by the end of the season, he's doing that regularly. He's such a fun player. I mean, I know I don't need to tell anybody who listens to this podcast about Tyrese Haliburton being fun to watch, but man, he is fun to watch.
He is. He absolutely is. I will be so curious what the Pacers can do adjustment-wise. The other thing I'll be curious about is if they just go to McConnell right away. That was a big thing for them, was going with those multi.
He was awesome.
And he got the cheers, baby. He's still a process.
Oh, always. They could be playing in the playoffs, and TJ will get cheers when he checks in. That is, and I'm not even saying that jokingly. I like 100% mean that. That will like absolutely happen. If they match up in the playoffs at some point, TJ will still get cheers when he comes into the game. That is the level of love that exists here with him. He earned it, and I realized the other day that he has now been a Pacer for longer than he was a Sixer.
Yes,
which I tweeted, and a lot of people were very unhappy to hear.
Was there like euphoria in Wells Fargo and him and Covington on the floor at the same time?
It was there. I'll just say that there was for me. There was absolutely euphoria for me. It was wonderful.
Where is Hollis Thompson?
I was just gonna say we needed Tony Roten courtside, so that's perfect. We'll get the band back together. Where's Henry Sims where you need him?
Oh man, I forget what game it was before. One time, McConnell was talking to his teammates about the process with like Pacers teammates. They were just doing what we just did, rattling off names of guys on those teams.
Yeah,
they were like, TJ was like, that guy was better than you think. Like for all of them. It's so funny.
Yeah, that is very on brand for TJ to say about like every single guy. The story that Brett Brown would always tell is like they would sign a player, he would shake his hand and be like, "You're our starting point guard tonight." And that is like literally what they would do with like that's basically what happened with TJ. That's what they did with Tim Frazier. That's what they did with so many guys. Yeah.
The process got them here, right?
It was a wild time, but TJ Covington being back is very fun, and getting a couple TJ games is always nice. A bunch of TJ jerseys in the crowd yet on Sunday, and I would bet more Tuesday night.
A lot of McConnell use this season has been Pacers need energy, but unironically, the 2 and 3 ball handler looks were good for them on Sunday. So it would not surprise me if he played, because having 10 guys would actually be beneficial for them in general, just against the Sixers, who they're faster than and can get shots up against. But it won't matter if Tyrese Maxey does that again. It won't matter if the Pacers don't hit the glass. We will see how it all shakes out. Adam Aaronson, I finally got you back here after a years-long break. Go Phils. Thank you so much for the time. Where can people – yes, I didn't even realize. Oh.
Yeah, always.
The Phillies got eliminated the day before the Pacers got going this year. It was brutal.
Not
Preseason,
fun.
I should say. Brutal. Where can people find you and your work covering the first place Philadelphia 76ers?
Yes, the best record in the NBA, Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh,
crazy.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
That's right. The Nuggets lost again. That's right.
Yeah. Sixers Adam on Twitter, because I am bad at coming up with names for things. So I talk about the Sixers and my name is Adam, so that one works. And my coverage is at PhillyVoice.com.
Adam is in the beat ranks now, killing it covering the Sixers team, the king of the new lineup. I am always envious when Adam knows a new group of 5. The second it checks into the floor. Tomorrow we'll be talking about Pacers Sixers, whatever happens in tonight's game. Presumably a little bit closer, considering what the Pacers were able to do for the last 3 quarters on Sunday, but maybe not, because Joel Embiid always kicks the Pacers' butt. And later in the week, Pacers, a lot of off days. They don't play till Sunday after tonight. So we'll have lots of generic early season catch-up topics. Till then, everybody, have a fantastic rest of your day.